Hi, I'm Joanne with Kukla's Kouzina, and today we're making some Kourambiedes. And right now, I'm actually mixing the flour into our prepared butter mixture. And I'm going to show you how it's supposed to look before you get started making your cookies. So I'm adding the flour gradually because we don't want to add too much flour. Otherwise it makes the cookie really hard and stiff, and that's not good for Kourambiedes, because Kourambiedes, they're actually very buttery and soft, and they almost melt in your mouth when you start eating them. So this is a picture of how it looks before we actually make it into a real dough. It's very sticky, so you can see it's really sticky on the hands. And we're going to add a little more flour and keep on mixing, and we work in all the flour a little bit at a time. I want to thank my videographer here, Jackie, my daughter, who's taking a great video on this how-to, what these Kourambiedes should look like before you actually put them in the oven. But before we put them in the oven, we're going to let this dough rest a little bit. So we're almost there with our dough, but you can see it's still a little bit sticky. Not quite ready yet, so we're going to add just a little bit more flour, and then we're going to see how it rolls. Because we want it to be just, it's a little tricky getting the consistency right, making sure we don't put too much, but yet we don't want it to be sticky, because what happens when they're sticky is they're going to spread out too much when you start to bake them. So this seems to be just about ready. Let's just get all that flour incorporated into the dough. And you see how it's pulling away from the sides of my bowl now? It's not sticking to the sides of the bowl, which is an indication that my dough is ready. But we don't need to add any more flour to this. And we're going to take a piece and roll it. And let's see if it rolls out really nice. And there it is. See, it does. It rolls out really well. And we make just long figures, and we make an S figure sometimes when we roll it out a little bit more, and it looks like a little S. Like a little S. So now, sometimes we'll do a little pom-pom, which makes it almost a bite-sized piece. Great for if you just want to do a little hors d'oeuvre-like setting for dessert. And they usually look a little bit like that, like a little mountain. And before we let our dough sit and rest, we always put a cross on the top of it. So I'm going to roll out a cross. And then we're going to cover it with a towel and let our dough sit for about 15 minutes while we prep our pans. And here's my towel. And voila! We'll be baking in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jackie.
We're with Kukla's Kouzina. Our dough has been sitting for 20 minutes, so now we're ready to roll out cookies. Jackie, you do the first one.
Okay, so the first shape we're going to make is the finger shape. What you want to do is roll it out so it looks like that.
It's about 2.5 inches long, right?
Yes. Then what you want to do is you want to pinch the sides a little bit so it stands up.
Let's turn your hand this way. Yeah, that way they can see what you're doing. And when it stands up like that, it keeps it from spreading too much when it's in the oven. And it gives you a beautifully shaped cookie when it comes out. So we place them about 1 inch apart on the cookie sheet. Beautiful. And the next one I'm doing is going to be an S shape. You roll it out a little bit longer, just a little bit thinner, and you twist one side, and then you twist the other side the other way, and then you have an S-shaped cookie. And then you place that on your cookie sheet. Some people like to put a clove in the center. We don't, because some people get it's a little too strong when you bite into it. And then we have here, this is a pom-pom shape, which when you take the dough, you roll it in your hands, you make a ball, and then you just press it from the center up until you have a little pom-pom. Kind of looks like a kiss, like a Hershey's Kiss. And then you could place that there. And then when you have your entire tray full, you're ready to put it in the oven and get started on your next tray. And Jackie has been doing this since she was 3 years old. Why?
Because when my Aunt Kelly and my mom were making cookies when I was little, I always thought, wow, that's really fun. You know, I want to try that. So I started, and they started, you know, showing me how to shape them, make them, how they smell. I got to test them.
And what have you been doing every time the oven timer goes off?
Well, just to make sure we didn't overcook our cookies, I would shout, cookies, whenever the oven timer went off.
So we've got our built-in timer, our backup timer right here, in addition to the oven timer. So we're always ready to have a good time. We're making Christmas cookies, and it's a blast just to do it all three of us together.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
And I'm Joanne.
And we're with Kukla's Kouzina.
And today we want to show you how we powder our Kourambiedes.
The next step is you want to take your confectionist sugar and dust your surface. Today our surface is a board. Now, you can use one of these or the one I had in my hand. Now you want to dust it so the bottom of the cookie gets the confectionist sugar.
And that way it won't be dry on the bottom either.
So like I said before, you could use one of these. We prefer
Jackie prefers the shaker.
Our shaker.
It's a little bit easier to use sometimes.
It is. You want to completely cover your Kourambiedes in the confectionist sugar. I remember when I was little, this used to be my favorite part, and I think it still is.
And this is actually one of our favorite cookies because it's so soft and it does melt in your mouth. And this just takes a few minutes just to get them all dusted. And once they're all dusted, those 10 cookies can then be transferred to your storage container. And the storage container, you'll be able to keep them for about 3 weeks and they will be perfect. You can even freeze these. And here is our final product of what they look like. We hope you enjoy them as much as we've enjoyed showing you how to do these cookies. Kali Alexi.